good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm back. Thankful. At nakahit din ako ng time na makapag-live at makapagbasa for my last chapter dito sa yung chapter ng librong ito. Dr. Alice Woman's Health Bible. We're on the last chapter, which is chapter 11, Aging Gracefully. There is nothing you can do about aging. There is nothing you can do about aging. Getting older is a fact of life. However, you can do a lot about how you age, how you look, your outlook on life, and the quality of your health and well being can be highly influenced by how you treat yourself throughout life, but especially once you reach middle age and beyond. Suman. Yan, bago pa lang tayo nag-start, may interruption na agad. Session. This is true of everyone, but particularly of women, because the menopause, stress, and vulner, vulnerability, vulnerability towards certain ailments all add to the aging process. Energy for life. In your later years, learning to make the most of the energy you have is paramount. Celebrate your body and mind. Energy is vital to health and well being. The boundless energy of youth brings with it vigor and vibrant good health. As you grow older, energy becomes a more precious commodity and it can be sapped by, for example, less restorative sleep, general aches and pains in bones and muscles, or less mobility, worry and stress, too much energy being expended in digestion. The greater you the greater your energy levels, the easier it will be to cope physically and mentally with all life throws at you, whether it's the menopause or bereavement. Looking after your body all through your life will give you a head start when age begins to make itself felt. If you wish to conserve your energy, you have first to learn not to waste it. Nutrition. What you eat affects your energy levels both in what it supplies in the way of nutrients and in how much we expend in digesting and absorbing it. Eat all the wrong things all the time, and your body will not receive all the nourishment it needs. And to make things worse, we'll use up a lot of energy processing it through the system. Energy you should instead be using to live life to the full. Digestion is heavy duty work, mechanically churning the food in our stomach and generating acids to break it down, moving it along the intestines and digesting, then absorbing the digested particles. The more we eat, the tougher the food is to digest, the more strain there is on the digestive system. As you get older, especially over the age of 60, your metabolism slows and your digestive system becomes less efficient. What it could happily cope with at 20 becomes more of a struggle at 60 or 70. Eating habits. Given the choice, the digestive system would prepare not to have to process too many different types of food at the same time. As you get older, it makes particular sense to make things easy for your system by not overloading it with, say, protein, starch, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine all the same meal. Not eating a heavy meal late at night. Not putting heavy demands on your stomach by eating a lot of acidic or highly spiced food. Yes, products or coffee. A good plan is to have a simple breakfast, much the same every day, in a varied lunch and light dinner. If you are working or are following habits adopted when you were working, dinner tends to be the main meal of the day and lunch a lighter snack. Ideally, it should be the other way around, so that instead of using its energy in digesting a late meal, your body can devote itself to doing what it does best at night, such as synthesizing hormones and carrying out repair work. Hopefully, you can still do the biking at the age of 70. Meal ideas. Breakfast. 10 almonds soak for 24 hours and peel. Porridge or soda bread toasted with honey. A sprinkling of cinnamon powder adds flavors and is digestive aid. Or a pouch or soft boiled egg 3 to 4 times a week. Small mixture of fruits. Choose from banana, grapes, melon, papaya, apple, pears, guava. With tea with milk or a herbal tea. Avoid orange, grapefruit, pineapple juice, lots of butter, traditional cooked breakfast. These are heavy on the stomach. Lunch, green salad in a bowl of plain pasta with a little olive oil. Fish or chicken with salad or vegetables. Tortilla wrap or ciabatta with an energy-giving filling such as chicken and salad, hummus or cottage cheese. Around 4 p.m., tea or some fruit 3 times a week. Make an energy-giving fresh juice of carrots, apples, ginger, and mint leaves. Dinner. Protein, fish 3 times a week. Chicken, meat, plus carbohydrate, rice, pasta, potatoes, plus selection of vegetables. For dinner, the lighter the better. Opt on the whole for grilling, poaching, steaming, or baking rather than frying or roasting, as this will make a food more easily digestible. Dessert. Consider this an occasional treat, not be included in a regular diet. Fruit salad, vermicelli cooked in an evaporated milk with a little honey or molasses sugar. Why alcohol is aging? A number of studies have confirmed that women are less resilient than men to alcohol. Consumed regularly and especially immoderately, alcohol puts a great strain on the liver. Processing alcohol is only one of the liver's numerous functions, and if it is required to spend an in if it is required to spend an inordinate amount of time and energy dealing with the alcohol that comes its way, it is going to become less efficient at, for example, processing excess hormones or contributing to energy production. A common symptoms of a weak liver is fatigue. Alcohol abuses age the skin, reducing its elasticity and creating dark circles around the eyes. Psychological dependence, poor posture, tremors, and memory loss all adds to the wear and tear on the body and mind, aging you prematurely. Fasting. Semi-fasting once a week is good for your health and well-being, and the best method of damage control. It gives your digestive system and liver a rest and gives the body a pause in which to concentrate on regenerating its energy and carrying out essential repair work. Traditionally, Hindu women in India fast once a week. This has a great beneficial impact on their skin and general health. And as they approach it as a sacrificial offering, it is also a spiritual process that helps them to cope with routine stress. For this one for this 1 day a week, limit yourself to fluid, predominantly water and herbal teas with non-acidic fruit and if you like soup. There is more on fasting. Exercise. You may not be as vigorously active as when you were younger, but staying supple, preventing joint stiffness, and maintaining bone strength are all important to feeling fit and healthy in your older years. And exercise is the key. Exercise will also enhance your energy levels. The less you do, the less you feel like doing, as well as yoga, which is adaptable to all age groups and states of health. There are many forms of exercise that, while keeping muscle tones and joints mobile, are enjoyable, sociable, and provide exertion without exhaustions.
Na may 10 sa kuwan no, wala ganing load sa TN. Itong all network. Wala pa. Ay, daot ang TN. Wala dito, BM pa.
Just a few ideas include swimming, tai chi, pilates, dancing, and badminton. Many local clubs have classes especially geared to older women, or you might form your own walking groups, perhaps with fellow dog owners or with friends with similar interests. such as going out bird watching or visiting public gardens. Skin and hair care. Women are much more critical, both in themselves and in others, about the wrinkles and eye bags that develop with aging. All the advice in the chapter A, Healthy Beauty, applies at any age. And if followed throughout your life, will result in hair and skin that age slowly and gracefully. It is in middle and old age that earlier sins catch up with you. Sunburn, smoking, mistreating your skin and hair with harsh chemicals, or failing to protect them from rough treatment or overexposure to sand and wind. Some suggestions to help you maintain glossy hair, strong nails, and a clear, healthy skin as you grow older. Drink plenty of water and eat lots of fresh fruits and leafy green vegetables. This will help ensure you get plenty of calcium, essential for strong hair and nails, and that you can absorb it well. Osteoporosis is often associated with hair loss. Osteoporosis is often associated with hair loss. Plenty of fluids will also avoid dehydration, which age your skin. Take aloe vera capsules daily for a few months to improve your hair and skin condition. Natural supplements containing phytoestrogens such as shatavari also help the skin and hair maintain a good texture. Vitamin A, C, and E are antioxidant, which means they keep in range the free radicals in our bodies. An excess of free radicals ages us more quickly. The facial exercises and massage describes in a healthy beauty will help maintain skin tone and toughness. Exercise in general, regular is more important than strenuous, will improve your blood flow and keep your skin healthy. The aging effect of stress. Women are more greatly affected than men by regular daily stress and strain, whether from a demanding job or repeated childbearing. Often the care and concern of elderly or sick relatives also falls more heavily on them, adding further burdens. When this come on top of concerns about your own physical being, little aches and stiffness that didn't used to be there, menopause symptoms, general tiredness, the combined stresses can age your body at an unbearable pace. In remote monasteries of the Himalayas, the monks and nuns are equally free from the tensions of the modern world, eating simple food and practicing celibacy, and they retain an inevitable youthfulness. However, the monks are even less touched by age than their female counterparts. This is a good illustration of the fact that women generally age more quickly than men when under similar levels of type of stress. Although a completely stress free existence sounds like a dream, it is not actually the ideal to aim for, as it could suggest a life that is subdued and without stimulation. Maintaining a broad interest in the world and what it has to offer will help keep the negative effects of aging at bay. Generally speaking, women are better at keeping alive different interests than men, but it is something of which everyone should be aware. The third age, with life expectancy ever longer, life after retirement or when the children have grown up is not so much the sunset years as a new age. Here are just a few thoughts to contemplate. Maintain a structure to your life. If you say of everything, I can do that tomorrow, you will probably delay it forever. It's said that everybody has a creative streak, but most people feel too shy or embarrassed or are convinced they lack talent, but you never know until you try. Creativity ranges well beyond the fine arts of drawing and painting. There's garden, design, amateur theater, flower arranging, jewelry making. Your years of experience will be valued by others. You might lecture to local groups of or become a tour guide, help organize girl guides or similar children's activity, or do volunteer work for a charity. Find out about local societies and associations that cover an interest you have or would like to have. There is a whole world out there that you have not had time before to explore. from antique restoration and archaeology to wildlife conservation and music appreciation. With pressure ever growing on the National Health Service, help is always needed in caring for others, from collecting prescription to reading to the blind. Go back to school, universities, distance learning, and local authority classes are all geared to mature students. Or return to the classroom in a different way by providing valuable assistance such as listening to children read. If you have a partner, planning the future together is helpful, but always maintain a degree of self reliance. A happy medium. Whatever your lifestyle, aim for a realistic balance. If you still work and are very active, remember also to allow yourself enough time off to regenerate your energy. It is easy to get hooked or constantly feeling you need to prove your ability to yourself and to your younger colleagues. If you have become a full time career, it is important not to become isolated and feel you have to soldier on alone. The health and social services are slowly waking up to the burden carrier by carriers of all ages, but you will probably need to make the first moves yourself in seeking support in health. It is worth doing. There are too many stories of women who have worn themselves out and become ill through living with the prolonged stress of caring for someone else. If your days seem long and empty, as you can happen with an empty nester, once the children had left home or on retiring or after losing your partner, you look to broaden your horizon. Depending on your circumstances, this might involve anything from foreign travels, perhaps by train or boat, rather than subjecting your body to long haul flights, to joining a local club or society. An enormous amount of invaluable work is done by volunteers in every aspect of life, from becoming a school governor to recording tapes for the DIP to charity fundraising. For more on the effects of stress and how to combat them, see the chapter on psychological health. Case study: reduce stress and improve your health. At 45, reduce stress and improve your health. At 45, Helen was worried by the effects of a cyst in one of her ovaries. Although the cyst was benign, it was quite large, at over 5 cm in diameter, and her periods had become irregular. She had become highly stressed at the thought of having her ovary removed and facing the prospect of an early menopause and hormone replacement therapy. When she came to me for help, I could see that the priority was to reduce the state of nervous tension she had got into and help her to manage her stress. She followed my instruction to adopt the lifestyle program and to take up yoga regularly. I also gave her Shatavari, an Ayurvedic supplement that contains natural phytoestrogen and other hormone regulators, homeopathic doses, and pulsatilla and vitamin and mineral supplements. 4 months later, when Helen went for another scan to assess the progress of her cyst, it had reduced to 1 cm. By then, her periods had become regular again. She felt very positive, slept better, and had more energy. I next saw her several years later when her menopausal symptoms began, at the very normal at age of 52. She again found Shatavari useful, this time to stop her occasional hot flashes. Menopause. Around the age of 50, a woman reaches the end of the reproductive phase of her life. Technically, menopause only applies to the ending of menstruation, but there is not a sudden switching up point. And the whole period of change, which lasts several years, is usually referred to as menopause, although it is technically called the climacteric. Clima, climac, climacteric. The other ano ng menopause. Climacteric. Usually referred as the menopause, although it is technically called the climacteric. The menopause can also occur prematurely or be brought about by surgery on the reproductive organs. And someone,
Brown envelope na ha.
how it starts. Since you begin life with about 2 million eggs in your ovaries and release perhaps 400 to 500 through ovulation, it may seem odd that the lack of egg cells in the ovaries is the primary cause of menopause. However, for many years before the actual menopause, fewer egg follicles are stimulated by hormones, and others simply disappear. From your mid 30s onward, your ovulation is likely to have become increasingly sporadic. When each month an ovarian follicle is triggered to develop, it secretes estrogen. When fewer follicles develop in this way, estrogen levels in the body begin to drop. They never disappeared entirely, but the ovaries are a principal source, and a loss from them has effect all over the body. What less estrogen means. The reduction in estrogen level is the key to many the well-known signs of the menopause. Some are transient, other permanent, and to what extent you are affected by them depends on many things, including your sensitivity to hormonal fluctuation and general health, your mental attitude to this change of life, and even just luck. In brief, this menopausal fall in estrogen affects menstrual cycle. The change in levels of estrogen and progesterone mean that during the premenopausal phase, the menstrual cycle becomes less predictable and periods change in nature. For many women, they slowly lessen both in duration and heaviness, but for others, they become more erratic but heavier. If you haven't had a period for a year, it is probably safe to assume they will not restart. But some women are taken by surprise with a sudden resurgence after several months without menstruating. Hot flashes and weight gain. These are both very common menopausal effects. The first temporary, the second often longer lasting. Skin and muscle tone. Estrogen helps maintain the collagen that keeps skin supple and elastic in muscle tones. A postmenopausal slackness can be apparent in the face, breast, vagina, and pelvis. Incontinence from reduced muscular control is a common complaint. Joint stiffness and backache can also result from reduced elasticity in your ligaments. Lubrication. Without the support of estrogen, the walls of the uterus and vagina become thinner, and in the case of vagina, less well lubricated. Vaginal dryness can lessen the pleasure of lovemaking. The lining of the bladder also thins and can become more prone to infection. Some women complain that more frequent cystitis or bladder infections start around the menopause. Dried bowel linings can slow down bowel movements, which can inhibit the absorption of some nutrients. Hair growth. A proportional increase in male hormones continues the thinning of the hair on the scalp while ironically promoting male pattern hair growth on the face. Lack of calcium is also a factor of thinning hair. Bone density, protection from certain illnesses. With a fall in estrogen comes an end to the enhanced protection women have from breast cancer and heart disease. Decreased libido. This is not by any means a universal experience, and many women find their interest and enjoyment of sex increases, perhaps helped by the removal of the concern about conceiving. But a decreased sex drive is not uncommon. The vaginal dryness can make lovemaking uncomfortable. The experience of the menopause is different for every woman. Many find they are minimally affected by the symptoms described above, while for others this become a very uncomfortable and trying period. The good news: not all the symptoms of the menopause are negative. The onset on the menopause brings an end to PMS and its associated problems, migraine and headaches, breast soreness, bloating, disturbances, water retention, and other complaints all disappear at the menopause. Endometriosis, uterine fibrosis, worry about contraception or conception. Personal na? 39. Emotional turmoil. Some women find the greatest difficulties are not physical but psychological. They may see the onset of the menopause as the gateway to old age, mourn the loss of their reproductive powers and equate it with the loss of femininity, or fear a loss of sexuality or sex appeal. But the menopause also comes at a time of life when other major changes may be happening too. Your children becoming independent and leaving home, aging parents become ill and or dependent, impeding in retirement, a house move, a partner also having to come to terms with getting older. It is not surprising that many women would add to the list of symptoms emotional turmoil, depression, short term memory loss, sleeplessness, and chronic fatigue. It has been found that estrogen can having a depending effect on anxiety, but it's not always appropriate to attribute all emotional upheaval to a lack of it. However, this does not lessen the problem. Treatments. An estrogen supplements will alleviate the physical symptoms described above. Hormone replacement therapy often seems like the ideal answer, but it is not without its own problem and side effects. However, there are natural dietary supplements that mimic the effects of hormone replacement therapy, without its side effect. Overcoming emotional problems at this time requires an individual approach, depending on what they are and how are they affected. Overcoming emotional problems at this time requires an individual approach, depending on what they are and how you are affected. There is some useful effect there is some useful advice in chapter on psychological health. Relaxation techniques are always helpful not only in listening rising panic and lifting depression, but in helping you see the problems more clearly as separate issues rather than an amorphous black cloud. Coping with hot flashes. Hot flashes or flushes are perhaps the most uncomfortable symptoms of menopause. Your cheek turn red, your sweat profusely, and your whole body can feel on fire. There can be palpitation, panic, and anxiety, or just embarrassment at this obvious sign. It can happen at any time of the day and night, and as much as 20 times a day. Some women get occasional flashes over a few months, while for others they can last for years. Although there is no simple explanation for hot flashes, there is evidence that hypothalamic underfunctioning could be responsible. The hypothalamus houses the nerve centric that controls the body temperature, causing sweating when hot and shivering when cold. Hormone replacement therapy. Replacing the estrogen and progesterone in the body delays or reverses the effect of their natural. Samaan.
Da, naman. Alis na lang ang face mask. Wala ko din ako na siya nasuot na. Right? Ang sa puti, dahon niya, anak mo. Ay, ikalot na siya, te. Ha? Ikalot na. Wala naman lang po dinanay. Utang naman lang po niya diha. Wala pa, ha? Wala pa isa pa, te. Wala ka na, te? Ha? Wala ka na? Fortune plant man na. Oo, lagi. Kapag pag yan lang, ay na. Eh? Oo, na. Nagpapas ka. Hindi. Eh? Pagkausan pa ayo no, gamay lang, anak. Pagpalit ka ang adak ko, butang na siya. Asa na taro ang correct na isa din. Ori pag magsakan ka te, kanan ka. Wala ako magtuon na te. Xerox ko ate. Wala si nanay. Diba ako na ibutang diri o? Diri sa imuhang kuan. In the corner. In the corner of the earth? Yeah. Papunta ko kayong kaang Eugene kay para mukuan siya. Suglesan ako sa tiha. Focus kay ka. Kanang siya. Ate. Ito na ko na siya nakita. Kanang siya na pagyaw. Pasunod ka pa ang. Oh, sige, pasunod ka ang. Ay, sipon ka ba? Wala po. Asa na imong mas? Kuan. Unya lagi kay mama ka. Unya lagi kay mama ka. Tawag ko ka.
Replacing estrogen and progesterone in the body delays or reverses the effect of their natural depletion at the menopause. Menstrual bleeding is resumed, vagina and bowels are better lubricated, the risk of osteoporosis and facial hair growth is reduced, and so on. However, hormone replacement therapy has its own risk. Breast and uterine cancers are the main worries. In become prescribing HRT, a doctor will look at your family's medical history as well as your own in these areas. In order to weigh up in the risks and advantages, a tendency towards heart attacks may argue in favor of HRT, as it offers a certain level of protection against heart disease. But a history of breast cancer in the family may be a contraindication. If you take HRT daily, it may over a period of time affect the liver, which has to process any build-up of hormones, a tendency to excessively bruising up or clotting, deep vein thrombosis, and digestive problems may also increase. Some women also find taking pills daily or juggling a combination of doses at different types of demand troublesome. HRT taken in the form of patches, pessaries, or implants are less problematic, but delivered to avoid accumulation in the body. An alternative to HRT is to take foods and supplements that contain phytoestrogen, which act like oxygen in the body but don't have the side effects of synthesis hormones. These include shataberry, ginseng, so a good alternative. This includes shatavari, ginseng, agnus castus, and yam. Taking this until about the age of 60 provides a useful cushioning effect over the transition period. Treatments. Hormone replacement therapy helps to control hot flashes but can involve complication. So I suggest you give not nature a chance with the method shown below before you contemplate taking HRT. Diet. Avoid all foodstuffs that may excite the nervous system. Excess salt and sugar, including sweets. Canned products containing preservatives. Guest foods and drinks. MSG, the flavor enhancer used in much commercial Chinese food. Warming spices such as chilies and ginger. Energizing supplements like ginseng, ginkgo biloba, and guarana. Red meat smoking. Eat more cooling foods such as cucumber and melon, mint, squash, buttermilk and yogurt, fish. Drink plenty of water, mint, or chamomile tea, slightly cooled, and avoid coffee, alcohol, and very hot drinks. Relaxation and massage. Relaxations and calming the mind help reduce the number of hot flashes. Practice yogic breathing exercise. Listen to relaxation tapes or CDs, and have neck and shoulder massage to improve blood flow to the brain. These also create a feel good factor and help you sleep more soundly. Breathe away the worst of flashes. During hot flashes, retention breathing will help to calm. Okay na?
Abogado, na Bugnaw, Linse, asa kare? Saan poster? 6 inches lang siya, sir. Oh. Uh, 1196 Nine sa ikalay. Malapit sa kung basa ni Sir Sir, kung basa ka, sir, sa kung basa ka sa pangalan sa 1980, Blue Light, Blue Light 15. Kasi ka na na, ganun ba? May trabaho, asa po yung ulo, sir? Puro, music, kalaban, Other than the answer, 5 ano, answer 5. Paman, padal amak, sir? R, Armad? Ahmad, Ahmad, Iday. Confirm to sa answer 5577 5194 6183 5101. One of all the numbers 5577 5194 6183 5101. Salamat, sir.
Breathe away the worst of flashes. During a hot flashes, retention breathing will help to calm the body down more quickly. Breathe in, hold your breath for as long as you can, 10 to 15 seconds. And just when you think you are running out of breath, exhale and inhale slowly. Taking in half breath, hold your breath again until you desperately need to breath again. Exhale and take half a breath. Continue this cycle for 2 to 3 minutes until the symptoms stop. This type of breathing needs practice. So try it out when you don't have the flashes so you are prepared. Supplements. Magnesium, hormone support remedies. Weight gain at the menopause. As so many women have found, the menopause heralds to change a change to your body shape. In particular, women who have never had a weight problem notice a buildup of fat around the lower abdomen, on the outer thigh, and around the hips. A certain loss of elasticity and muscle tone makes the bulges more obvious. All the more frustrating is the fact that they are probably eating no more than usual and exercising just as much. Some women are so concerned that they go so far as opting for liposuction, but although this has an immediate effect, the fat deposits soon return. This additional fat has very little connection with diet and is mainly due to hormonal changes. Women produce male as well as female hormones, just as men produce female as well as male hormones. But the two types need to be kept in balance. The ovaries are instrumental in this, but when they cease to be active, the superfluous male hormones need to be dealt with in some way so that they do not start investigating the rise of male characteristic in a woman. The answer is to convert them instead into another form of estrogen outside the ovaries. This conversion and storage takes place in many parts of the body, including the liver and bone marrow. But a principal site is white fat deposit in specific areas of the body. This white fat is also known as cellulite and can often be identified by its typical dimpling of the skin surface. These stored supplies of estrogen are helpful in retaining a balance of female hormones, and without them, menopausal changes would be much more dramatic. But this does not make the cellulite deposits any more welcome. Treatments. Diet. Cellulite fat responds best to a long term low starch and ultra low fat diet. It's important not to lose sight of the fact, however, that you may put on weight anyway. This is not a direct effect of the menopause, but a coincide of timing. Perhaps a less hectic lifestyle, changes in eating patterns, less inclination to exercise. To counter this type of weight gain, the answer is a sensible dietary and exercise regime. Exercise. Muscular activity has less effect on white fat deposits, but the body will grow on them if stores are yellow. fat are limited. Exercise is also very important in combating lack of muscle tone and to keep bones strong. Yoga and Pilates are recommended regimes for maintaining good body shape. Abdominal and hip or thigh exercise have become popular, although they have less effect when the exercise is made up primarily of cellulite. Massage. Improving the blood supply to the brain through neck and shoulder massage helps areas of the brain, such as the pituitary and hypothalamus, function well. It induces a sense of calmness and well being and reduces appetite cravings. A useful support when on restricted diet for massage to help reduce cellulite. Premature menopause. Although, as well as the start of menstruation, there is a normal age range for menopause to begin. Onset before 45 years of age is usually considered premature. With an early menopause period, usually just stop without a transition period of irregular cycles. When estrogen-related disease such as endometriosis and breast or uterine cancers are treated with estrogen-blocking drugs, this tend to lead to an early menopause. In experimental conditions, it has been found that low estrogen level, which therefore keep the hormonal balance in favor of male hormones, cause atresia, the ambulation of disappearance of egg cells. This suggests that conditions such as polycystic ovaries or prolonged arduous exercise regime can also lead to early menopause. Surgical removal of the ovaries due to cancer or other serious disease will bring on an instant menopause. In other cases, the early onset of the menopause is often related to emotional and physical traumas or prolonged stress. In my own observation, 70% of women who go through the menopause prematurely had have had whiplash injuries, neck or head injuries, accident, or falls with the previous 15 years, example after the age of 30. This again confirms. Mhm. This again confirms the hypothesis that the neck arteries are affected by misaligned cervical vertebrae. The blood flow is reduced to the hypothalamic pituitary area, affecting its function. Since this area of the brain controls ovarian function and cycles, the link is obvious. It has also been observed that smoking can advance the menopause by a couple of years. Osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, typically, if not completely correctly called brittle bone disease, is much more common in women than men. It usually manifests itself in the post-menopause period and is common cause of ill and health and immobility among the elderly. but the conditions for it are laid down much earlier in life. Building bones. Contrary to popular conception, bones are not inert. There is a lot of activity going on within them all the time without their constant work. For example, muscles would lack the minerals necessary to function and fractures would never knit. Bone cells do different job. Osteoblasts, for instance, are responsible for producing new bone, while osteoclasts facilitate the release of minerals stored in the bones. Calcium, the most abundant mineral in bones, phosphate, and so on, when other parts of the body need them. So there is a continuous process of bone building and mineral storage. In bone loss through mineral redistribution, resorption. All through our growing years and up until our early 20s, we make more bone than we lost, and their density can continue to increase for another decade. With age, the bone renewal process is outstripped by the demand on calcium and other minerals, making bone less dense and more fragile. This process happens to everyone, but it poses as much greater risk to women because they generally have lighter skeletons and so less total bone mass to start with. Symptoms. The drop in estrogen level with menopause can dramatically affect the calcium content and therefore the density of bone. Symptoms. Mild loss bone is called osteopenia. Saman, ah, sa?
Happy birthday!
Mild loss of bone. Mild loss of bone is called osteopenia. And severe loss is called, so mild loss lang pala yun. Tapos yung severe loss is osteoporosis na. Osteoporosis. Osteopenia. Osteoporosis. The most likely to be affected by loss of density are the rest bones, the vertebrae in the top and neck, or the femur, affecting the hips. Symptoms include fracture due to a minor jarring, such as jumping off a bus or hitting a leg on a hard surface. Sometimes a fracture is caused by a movement so trivial, such as turning over in bed, that the break seems spontaneous. Pain in the joints and muscle, the appearance of Duwagger's hump as the vertebrae in the neck and upper back lose mass and strain. Duwagger's hump. Duwagger's. Loss of height due to the collapse of vertebrae disc Muscle cramps, particularly the toes, calves, and hamstring, as the body tries to inactivate the muscle by going into spasm. Sciatica, tingling in the fingers, numbness of toes, foot drops, and other neurological symptoms arising from this problem in the spine. Advanced symptoms include fatigue and moodiness, perhaps with headaches, dizziness, nausea, palpitation, lack of concentration, sleep disturbances, depression, short-term memory, loss, imbalance, blurred vision, tinnitus, and sensation of hot or cold in the body. These symptoms are linked to an impaired blood flow through the vertebrae arteries when bone loss in the cervical spine has caused shrinkage and collapse of intervertebral disc in the neck. Body bones, body pain so severe and muscles so weak that even simple movements like lifting a glass of water is difficult. Calcium, the key. These symptoms are largely the result of a lack of calcium, either to keep bones strong or to fuel muscles. We get calcium from a variety of different foods, but we also need to absorb it efficiently. There is no benefit in drinking lots of milk every day if something is stopping your digestive system for absorbing the calcium from it. What hinders calcium absorption and storage? Chronic constipation, less than 3 bowels movement per week. The colon is predominantly where minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and phosphates are absorbed. And absorption is made more difficult when the stools are hard, and dry soap stools make it easier for the body to absorb these minerals. Dryness related to a drop in estrogen level. After the menopause, the eyes, mouth, bowels, vagina, and the skin generally get drier. Dryness of the bowels contributes to constipation. Lack of vitamin D. Calcium is absorbed by a complicated chemical process in which the presence of vitamin D is essential. Normally, vitamin D is synthesized by the skin under direct exposure to the sun. Ordinary exposure in normal conditions, even in cool, temperate climates, is sufficient. But being housebound over a long period or being bound by a cultural code that requires complete covering of the body, including hands and face, can result in a deficiency. I have observed many cases of osteoporosis and found that a high percentage of the women I saw with this condition also had chronic constipation, poor exposure to the sun, or were strictly vegetarian. Calcium and blood clotting. Calcium is vital to the efficient clotting of the blood, which is why a deficiency is also responsible for minor troubles that many women notice in older age, such as bleeding gums after tough brushing, easy bruising with bruises that last a long time, and slow healing of cuts and burns. Diagnosing and measuring osteoporosis. Blood calcium levels generally do not drop in the early stages of osteoporosis, as the body tries to keep a constant level to match demands from the muscles and other parts of the body. But this status quo of calcium in the blood is maintained by stealing more and more calcium from the bones. To diagnose osteoporosis, therefore, requires not a blood sample analysis, but a bone scan or urine analysis, since calcium loss will show up in urine. These tests are becoming more readily available now. Preventive measures. The best way of guarding against a loss of bone mass becoming debilitating is to build strong, dense bone cells in the first half of your life by good calcium intake, taking exercise, bone and muscle work together. The stronger the muscle, the more the stress on the bones and stronger they get. Giving up smoking. Smoking depletes estrogen reserves. Safeguards like this are especially important if There is a genetic predisposition towards weak bones, especially if your mother or grandmother have shrunk with age or develop a Dowager's hump. You are naturally very small in light bone. Your body has been exposed to less estrogen than average because of example, late starting periods, early menopause, or amenorrhea. There was any interruption to your development, especially in your teenage years, such as prolonged bed rest due to illness or problems such as anorexia. Making changes to your diet and lifestyle long before the menopause is much more effective than trying to arrest the process once osteoporosis has set in. Come on. Treatments. My treatment plan has four components. Diet to supply calcium and vitamin D. Facilitating of Facilitation of calcium absorption. Therapeutic yoga exercise to strengthen bones, massage, plus supplementation of minerals and vitamins where necessary. Diet. Ensure you have sufficient calcium in your diet. Dairy foods, low fat milk, yogurt, and cheese rather than their full fat equivalents. Oily fish, eggs, dark green leafy vegetables such as kale, cabbage, sprouts, various Chinese greens, and seaweeds. Calcium enriched soya milk, pulses, cereals. Dairy products are usually our principal source of calcium intake, and vitamin D is only present in animal products. So those on diet which precludes any form of animal produce may be prone to a deficiency. Relieving constipation. Constipation prevents our body absorbing calcium efficiently. Chronic constipation is most often due to too little fluid, too little roughage in the diet. Calcium absorption aids vitamin D, salic acid, spinach, beetroot. Fatty acids as found in the fish oil. Women are more prone to this because after the onset of menopause, the lower bowel is one of the places that become drier and less well lubricated than before, slowing down bowel movements. And if even slight urinary incontinence is a concern, it is common but erroneous move to try avoiding the problems by drinking less. The following all help the bowels more easily. 2 liters of water a day, spinach, papaya, figs, prawns, celery, broccoli and cabbage, okra, paprika, chilies, vegetable squashes. If your bowels are still lazy, you should be aiming for a regular daily movement without straining or discomfort. Then take a mild natural laxative on a regular basis. Exercise. Exercise once osteoporosis has set in can be a great strain. Therapeutic yoga is very beneficial. It helps to tone up the muscles, putting bearable strain on bones and mobilize joints while minimizing the rest of strain or fracture. This is because it gradually builds up the tone of muscle through stretching, as opposed to contraction that happens in most other exercises. Although an individual plan is difficult to recommend as the severity of osteoporosis has to be taken into account, the sequences indicated below provide an excellent controlled series of posture and stretching. Walking regularly each day is also helpful. Swimming, however, although good general exercise, does not provide the right sort of muscle resistance to combat osteoporosis. Cobra, turtle, boat pose, child pose or wild living, bridge pose, leg rotation, spinal stretch, marching, head roll. arching back. Massage, muscular cramps and spasm. Yeah.
Sa atin daw. Palit ako piminok lang. Ina. Kato daw. Panglo lang ako tinatawag ko. Panglo. Oo. Panin lang. Oo. Ten. Ay, hindi na lang.
Massage, muscular cramps and spasm creates a resistance to blood flow, and overall circulation is poor, relieving them in a beneficial to the entire body. Massage improves blood circulation through the muscles and tones them up, helping the bones to get stronger as well. Massage your entire body with a 1-4 mixture of mustard oil and sesame oil. This oil not only help to alleviate the pain and spasm in muscle, but help in strengthening to the bones. Supplements, calcium, phytoestrogen, vitamins, and other minerals to help bone strength. Cod liver oil for vitamin D in E. Yes? Huh? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. At tapos na talaga tayo. Yun yung pinaka-last. So, we're done. Congratulations to us. Congratulations. Natapos din. Natapos din.
Ulit mo ito na malagkit. Malagkit na po, madam.
Thank you. God bless.
Ayaw.
Bye-bye.